Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Sophia Gray, your host for another podcast. Today, we're going to have a very special guest joining us. Um, and at this moment, I would like to have him introduce himself to you.
But not so special. My name
Very
is Rayon
special.
Simpson. My name is Rayon Simpson, the current principal of Belmont Academy, past principal of St. Andrew Technical High School.
That makes it very
Uh,
special.
and I think you contacted me about the current designation as last principal of the year in Jamaica.
Yes. So, as a past student of St. Andrew Technical, give us a little history. Like, what led you to stats? Was it like you took the exam, or what led you to stats?
Well, I did not progress very well in the common entrance exam at the time.
Yes.
So that led us to an all-aid school, as
Yep.
would have been the case in those days. And the truth is, in Kingston, when you're doing technical entrance, stats would be right up there. But again, there were always good things coming out of stats. So
Good.
one would always be influenced about those great things. I think at the time we would have been the only technical school in the corporate area. We would have already won the Manning Cup. And we had a number of track stars for the
Yes.
second technical school. And lastly, uh, we had a wide array of entertainers coming through stats.
This is
So
true.
those things were pulling power, you know?
Gotcha. So stats was your number one choice.
Absolutely. In fact, it was my
Okay.
first choice. The other schools were only written on the paper by the teacher, not
All right. So tell me, while you were there, are there any staff or teachers that had an impact on you that stood out to you?
well, several, some more than others, obviously. Um, Reverend Walters was a very calming spirit for me, and quietly influential.
Okay.
Reverend Walters. His wife, to a lesser extent, but certainly he was. Um, Mrs. Christie was also an influence for me. Um, Mr. Morgan, the math teacher, and Mr. Booth were to another extent. But chiefly, there was a young teacher, right, maybe two, uh, Marlon Jones and Mr. Black. They were visual arts teachers.
Okay.
And Marlon Jones had the most influence and impact on my life as a young person. In fact, I give him credit for 90% of whatever success I turned out.
Nice. Nice.
So,
Okay.
so not one of the very popular names when you talk to the stats alum about St. Andrew Technical. But I tell you, in my cohort in the early to mid 90s, um, Marlon Jones left an incredibly impact upon
So
some.
what were some of the things he did that
Well,
was so impactful?
well, again, he wasn't out there, but quietly and in a calm way, the best mentor I could find at the time.
Okay.
I met another mentor when I was in college, but Marlon Jones was, par excellence. He saw to it that I tell you, and he was so unconventional because by the time I got the stats, I was really an outcast, and so would call me a bad influence. So
Why?
because because I wasn't measuring up with the curriculum at the regular school life, so I wasn't going to some of the classes. You could call me a short at the time. I wasn't going. Uh, but then I fell in love with visual arts, so I found myself there when I had other classes. And he facilitated it for a little while. So I got comforted, in fact, even complacent. I thought that he was facilitating my misbehaving, not because I was giving trouble, but because I was hiding away from other classes. So he kept that up. He facilitated it for about 3 months until one day we were horse playing in the art room. An individual by the name of Aaron Goshi, who I think is a mentee of Marlon as well. He lives in the UK. He interfered with me and was running around the classroom, and I was running him down in rage to damage him. But Marlon was a black belt karate expert. So in one of my 400 meters around the classroom, uh, he he hooked me up with his right foot like this, right down my cheek.
Wow.
I stopped in my tracks.
Okay.
And laid it out there and then that he was going to happen. And at that time, marshaled me now to ensure that I got the work from every single teacher that I had missed it from and turned them into him. So while he did not command me to go back to the class, he commanded that I produce the work. And I started doing so. And then I became noticed by the faculty because I was passing the exams, I was getting good grades in the coursework, but they weren't seeing me. So I became a maverick kind of mystery of sort. Until through him, he reintegrated back into the system, and then I had that progress from there.
Okay. So you got some black belt moves done on you. Were you involved in any sports or club or organizations while attending stats?
Yes, I played cricket.
Okay.
It wasn't good enough to have been mentioned. But
You tried out?
yes, I tried out for cricket. There was a real good cricketer at the time, maybe two, but certainly one. Barrington Bartley, uh, his name was. He played at the West Indies on the 19 level,
Okay.
so he was that good. And I believe he was a classmate of mine, if I remember. So, yeah, so we played, we tried out, I got a few games. I bowled fast medium, and I flirted with batting as well, but I would I wouldn't even name that among any achievements. But I did.
Okay, so piggybacking off of that, do you have any hobbies? Would cricket be a hobby, or are there others?
No, I didn't grow up with hobbies. In fact, I stayed away from those things. I don't have fantasies. I don't have hobbies.
A hobby is not a fantasy.
No, well, I'm just extending. So I don't have fantasies. I don't have hobbies. I'm not addicted to anything. I've never been addicted to anything. And um, to a large extent, I've never really been bored in my life. So
Okay.
there are some habits about Rayon Simpson.
Okay. So what educational path did you take after leaving stats?
So with the intervention of Marlon and my principal at the time, Paul, I earned a scholarship to Kent Institute of Art and Design in England. And it was, signed up on everything for that and was about to go, but my appendix ruptured at the time. So I spent the last part of high school in the hospital. So I was able to do it and take that up. And then I transitioned into the Jamaica Defense Force. I came out a soldier just after graduation.
Okay.
And then from there, the launching part was to go to Michael Teachers College where I spent the term. And found that the arts program at Edna College was superior to that of Michael. So I transitioned from Michael to Edna College where I completed my diploma. top student and valedictorian. So I transitioned from a dropout, from almost a dropout. I was about to be kicked from start by the if I could just
Really?
yes, I was summoned to the disciplinary hearing because of the same thing. By the time the report card came about, you had more absence than you were present in school, and no matter how much you were sending you to school every day. So the disciplinary regime took effect, and I was summoned to disciplinary hearing, where in the meeting, Mr. Rodnap, designated Mr. Rodnap, vice principal at that, he asked, so by this time I was in the final year. So he asked, you know, that I should give them one reason why I should not be kicked out of the school. So it was one question that they received. That I told them by that time I had done well with the help of a mentor, who was
Gotcha.
not a foreigner to the school, but a teacher in the school. So there's someone Marlon didn't found that I was speaking. Then they asked what other reasons. I told them that I had signed up. At the time it was at Piccadilly, when we do exam outside of stats. Independently, they would sign up to do so with the overseas exam. So because it was not my time to do exam at stats yet, I had gone ahead because I was doing so well with art and history. I had gone ahead and signed up for those two subjects. So I told them that I had signed up for C6 subject, 16 subject, and I felt that I would be able to pass it. The two teachers, Mr. Sutherland and Mr. Jones at the time, concurred that I could pass those subjects, and so I was rescued as a time.
Yeah.
So, so I'm in college now, and you know, I ended up being the valedictorian top student and won several awards at the went back to do the first degree and was valedictorian again, and then I won a scholarship to the Chase Fund, and pursued a master's degree at the Ohio State University.
Wow.
From
Very
there,
impressive. So, tell us about your journey to Teacher of the Year, and congratulations, by the way.
thank you. Well, not teacher of the year actually,
I mean,
but principal of the year.
Principal of the Year. My bad.
Well, the truth is there are so many excellent principals in Jamaica that I feel that I am the representative this year.
Yeah. Okay.
That's how I see it. But essentially, I have always sought to replicate what Marlon did for me as a student.
Yes.
And so I became a mentor chiefly. Yes, I taught, but I'm a teacher, I'm a principal, I was vice principal and head of department. But chiefly, I saw myself as a mentor. That I saw firsthand how that could rescue um, the most non-progressive person. So I became that to a number of students, and it worked. So by the time I got to become a principal, I did that as well, and I introduced some revolutionary measures within the school that I had been caused some success. But also I became a mentor to a number of teachers. So,
Okay.
you know, in 2006, long before this designation, I was awarded by the National College of Education and Leadership and the Ministry of Education as an exemplar principal,
Okay.
where I had the opportunity of, mentoring new principals coming into the system. So some of the things that we would have done, we enter students to do their final exams from grade 8, grade 9. We restructure the curriculum at Belmont, where students start their subject in grade 9 rather than grade 10. I think we are
Okay.
the only school in Ireland with that. And so we've had several students who would have completed high school in 3 years rather than 5.
Wow.
So they transitioned to sixth form when they would have normally been in fourth form. And so we employ them rather than, so, like at start, you would have a teacher that would also have a lab technician for certain subject areas. We don't bother to hire those persons from outside. We hire our sixth form students who would have gone through that program. And so they are serving a dual purpose at school. They are both students and work. And we found that has been successful. But chiefly, the vast majority of our students graduate with 5 or more subjects. We've been doing that from 2013 at Belmont Academy. Our students, are the students that go to another school, so it's not that they are visiting the team at the top. So this is the way we design the curriculum and the way we implement it. But I also went to St. Andrew and inherited a school that is quote unquote failing based on the measurement from the Ministry of
Right.
where only 6.7% of our students are started passing 5 or more subjects in the CXA. And so we implemented some similar systems that improved from 6.7 to 45 within the 1 year I was there. So
Wow.
and if you would have noticed some of the work that happened at St. Andrew, it would answer some of your questions as why I was seen by my peers and the ministry as the principal of the year, because as you would have known, in 30 years, stats did not qualify again for the management final, and my 1 year there happened. Not because I was a coach or I influenced the decision of the coach, but in how we restructured sporting program in the school.
Gotcha.
Because many persons just think about winning a title and we were interested in youth development. And that
True.
translated into
True.
a number of things. So, for example, the Manning Cup coach at the time in 2007 was not the head coach of the program. So those are some of the unconventional approaches. And we introduced a number of mentorship programs. I think we got the most funding for stats in a long time because a number of persons came on board, including someone who's very close to this interview this evening, who actually met me in a hotel lobby to hand over something for stats. So
I wonder who that could be.
I'm wondering too. But that's the kind of interest that we generated, because I mean, people just saw that things were happening and
Oh yeah.
and that it was coming from a genuine place, So those are some of the things that we've done. I feel the recording studio at Belmont Academy is doing for that stats as well, because the creative industry, we have not even begin as a country to capitalize on that yet, and the kind of impact that we saw through those programs is unimaginable. But the main thing is how we really marshal the academic workouts. So Belmont, for example, that is only a 14-year-old, has been named by the Task Force on Education 2010 as top performing sixth form
Wow.
country. In a nutshell, that would have been some of the reasons.
Nice. So, who nominated you? How does the process work for you to get to that place?
All right, so I'm happy that I found out eventually how the process works, because when I was nominated, I didn't know where it came from.
Okay.
I only got a call from the Jamaica Teaching Council that I had been nominated for the Glasgow Principal of the Year. And then, they required certain things of me. During that process, I learned that my regional director, that's the person who supervises all the schools in Westmoreland, Hanover, and St. James. The schools in Jamaica are regional. So the head of that, Dr. Michelle, nominated me based on programs that she made for that based on performance. And also my education officer, Dr. Patricia Mukulu. So those two persons who have direct and indirect supervision of the school and work. And then thereafter, we had to submit our curriculum that we had to submit our portfolio. Because each leader within the school and teacher are required to keep a portfolio of sorts that become a the kind of work that we have done. And of course, there is the National Education Inspectorate, that is the institution that does the inspection of all schools in the. They are part of the process. Jamaica Teachers Association part of the the National College of Education. So all of them will have come together to put such stringent criteria in place that they have to meet. And then you are empaneled for an interview. You must face the panel and answer certain questions.
Wow. So not exactly an easy process, huh?
Not at all, not by any means, not by any means, because some of the names that I mentioned, is, for example, the National Education Inspector, they are not just on the panel, they have significant data on their school. So
Okay.
my school, Belmont College would have been inspected 3 times. That would be inspected once.
Okay.
So you can't tell them things that you're not doing.
So they confirm everything.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So
And the evaluation is not just about academics, it's about auditing. Our schools are audited regularly by the
okay.
Ministry of Education, as well as we are required to do private audits. The social work that is done within schools among students, their well-being, their welfare, the kind of network that you have with the community and parents, and a whole lot of things, sporting program, extracurricular activities. So that kind of thing, how you interact with the community.
So I know I would ask, what drives this passion of yours to make you so vested in your students? And I know you mentioned your mentor, but are there any other aspects that would drive this passion? Because I know when you were at St. Andrew Technical, you were very engaged with the students. You know, they were at the stadium playing, and you were there with them. You had the drum. You were on the field with them. You were just very interactive. So what drives this? Was it anything in addition to your mentor, or is it this thanks is solely to that mentor that you had when you were at Stats?
However, however many mentors you have to have this personal drive,
True.
your own conviction that every child can learn. I'm a firm believer in that, because I was one who many persons thought couldn't learn. And I proved them wrong. I proved myself wrong too, because I also believe that.
Yeah. Well, if you hear it often enough, you might end up believing it. This is true. Yeah.
Yes. So having lived that experience myself, I feel that it is impossible not to learn rather than impossible to learn. So
Yeah.
I take that approach. But I also come from the position where education made me into, one could say, somebody. And, I feel that is the surest vehicle to personhood. So from that perspective, I try to give the best of me to my students. I think that if I have them for 5 years, they must not leave my wing and be worthless. So I
Yeah.
give it my all. And sometimes it is the reverse success that you will have had, that you're able to leverage when you have to deal with other students. So each set of students will come before you, you're convinced that they can learn, and then ever so often they come back to give testimony about what they have done for them and how the program that they have put into this help them to become the citizens of the world. So I'm passionate about that. No mentorship can prepare you for that.
Yeah. True. So what are some of the challenges you face in your current role?
You know, this is going to be controversial, but the main challenge I face is the ministry. Because I tell you, for example, I believe that there are some pillars that really enable schools to do well and enable progressive leadership. That include punctuality, attendance, academic rigor,
Yeah.
social welfare, and well-being. And, you know, when I was at STATS, for example, we implemented a program and a policy to deter late and punctuality. And, you know, we had issues, you know, enforcing that because the Ministry of Education, because it wasn't necessary, you know. The progress that we made, I understand. I don't know if it's still the case, but I understand that, you know, shortly after I went back to ground zero. And that is true right across Jamaica, where, you know, we have 1,010 schools in Jamaica and 170 high schools. And of that, probably only 30% of students are really, you know, leaving these spaces prepared for the next level.
Yeah.
So I think that if we can take the politics out of education, if we are able to, you know, not necessarily get more resources, but really rationalize the resources and prioritize, that can make a big difference. Another issue that we face in school, co-parenting. You know, you find that a number of our young people do very well if the home is supporting the school. What
True.
we call a homeschooling episode for education. Pop culture is another that is very challenging for us. What we seek to do within the walls of the school is sometimes eroded by what they see in the media and the
Yeah.
public,
Yeah.
film industry. Some other areas are like adults who do not know how to stay in their lane, so did not believe that you should have a 15-year-old girlfriend. And, you know, the government believing that you should recruit a 13-year-old boy to fill out his 25.
Yeah.
This kind of thing that, you know, not helpful to this kind of society that we're trying to lead.
So let me ask you, so what would you say to a student now that will not attend class? Because this is something that you did when you were a student. Do you think whatever that formula was that worked for you would work in today's day and age? If you have some students who they're coming to school, they're just not attending class. Like, how would you deal with something like that?
Well, let me make a confession to you. I'm not saying that you can't have a student of my school who maybe hide away from class for a day, but you can't exist in this space hiding away from school or pull out the other guy. It just don't happen because I patrol the campus like a policeman. And,
Okay.
you know, I go everywhere. So I'm gonna find you. But also there's the data to prove the point. You know, I paid very close attention in that pattern. So I'm able to see how quickly if there's a trend and the
Yeah.
class or a student. So it's not about what you say to them. It's an action-oriented process. If they know, for example, that they are in a school where the principal and the dean of discipline is likely to encounter you if you are hiding it, then it is going to reduce the possibility of that happening. You know,
True.
you just can't run a school from the office. You have to keep moving and the roving principle. And I can tell you truthfully that when I was at St. Andrews High School, attendance to school, you know, increased from 65% to 95% within a 6 month period because they have never seen anything like it. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, a student would come to me and confess all the time that they thought I was a spiritualist because they would see me on that block 1 minute, and you know, by the other minute I'm at the other block, and then I can't run as fast again. You know, but it's consistency. I used to beat them, you know, while they will stop and idle and stop to chat with somebody else, I don't stop. So it appears that I'm faster than I'm doing.
Yeah.
And so the student who is perpetually absent from school, you have to have robust systems in place because the principal they can't leave the room. So the guidance counselors must know they do, and they will now have to do home visits.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I check on that scrupulously. So if there's a attendance pattern that is disadvantageous to our school or to our particular student, then you know that is a referral that goes to the guidance counselor. The guidance counselor tries everything and is unsuccessful, then I turn up at your home. And
Okay.
that's just how it works. You know? I turn up at your home, mommy and daddy have to tell me why, and if they can't tell me why, then I'm reporting it to the office of the children. So there are
Okay,
systems
then.
in place, you know, it's just that we don't find it up.
Yeah.
Dominicans in particular find it up. But there are systems in place to tell that we're doing.
Nice, nice. All right. So we're gonna backpedal to some stats related question now. So as a stats alum, would you consider it a conflict of interest if you got involved in any current issues that are facing the school? Let's say, like the
No,
Walker Cup
certainly
or
not as an
whatever.
alum.
Huh?
Certainly not as an alum. As an alum, I'm entitled to have interest in my school. In terms of my position as a former principal, there are something that I would not venture to get involved in. Just for the fact that there's a current principal in place,
Right.
and I would defer to him that. But you know, as a past student of
As a
St.
past
Patrick's,
student.
I didn't need an invitation to have interest in my school. I forever do that until I do my last day.
Okay. So what would you say to the current alums who are not currently involved with the school? What would you say to some of them to maybe encourage them to, get involved?
Yeah, I don't like to do encouragement, but I would say to them, what an unfortunate position you've taken for yourself to have a school like St. Patrick's because you don't show the interest in that.
Yeah.
That's odd, you know. And then the second thing I would say, you know, I know certainly when I was at Stats, I didn't meet a lot of past students, but I heard about their involvement and I knew that they were involved. And
That's good.
yes, and that our lives would not have been as easy as we had it not been for them. You know,
That's very encouraging to hear because as an alum myself that try to help as much as I can, that is our hope that we are changing lives and having a positive impact. So to hear that is very encouraging and I think for those out there who have not been involved yet, hopefully this will trigger them to get involved because the school
yes.
really has a lot of needs.
Yeah, and I imagine that some persons don't get involved because they would have heard stories that cause them to be despondent, you know. But I'd always say, don't live your life by fears. Can't live your life based on what you've heard from others. You have to get involved to know, you know.
Yes, true.
There are a lot of things that are potentially discouraging about stats, but when you measure everything up, you know, I mean, there is nothing that is bad about stats that cannot be made right with what is good about stats because the school has just so much potential. The
Yeah.
school has a very good teacher in the vast majority. They are a person who quite frankly speaking, don't need to be teacher, but they are those who go above and beyond for the students. They are great students at the same time. You know, I'm in touch with some of them even now. It amazes me how grateful some of them are because I only spent a year at the school and I still get text messages and emails
Oh
from
yeah.
them that are so up. you know.
Nice.
Yeah, so I mean, I just love the school. I love the school for a number of reasons. That is a school that made me the resilient person that I am today. I think if there could be any truth to my effectiveness as a principal, that is where I learned to be a man, and that is where I learned to take it seriously. And so all tribute just that's for that, you know. So um, just look around. There is a starting point in every facet of it, from politics to sports to entertainment,
True.
education. You know, so we have two top schools in West Portland. Both of them are headed by who starts last year. Yeah,
Really?
we get on
Okay.
to that whole board. So I mean, you know, Rocky Need um had something to do with that. He was the chief of the of operations there, which he did the officer of the revenue, you know. So our influence is everywhere, you know. And if you look at what has happened in football, for example, where we may not have won the title, but we one of the top three schools in football for the last 7 years. I mean,
True. True.
that's and the number of students who would have gained scholarships abroad,
Yes.
playing for the Reggae Boys, Jaden White, for example, um, who was our keeper, and said he's a Reggae Boy today. So I mean, get involved. You can't afford to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah. And if I can say to myself, like you rightly said, it's not about winning the title because a lot of them that are in that Manning Cup program, that program is like it definitely changed their lives.
Absolutely.
It develops them, even after they leave, they still reach back, I know, to Kashka and Tommy for any kind of support. And even like the head boy, he's no longer a student, but he's still family. So, when he needed some help with tuition, we didn't have a choice but to rally around and try and help in any way or shape that we can. So, it is a lifelong relationship. It's family. And yeah, I feel the same sentiment. I have the same passion for the school. Um, so to kind of sum it up, what would you say to the current students as far as goals and dreams, given your success as a past student?
Well, my success is not the sky. The sky is really the limit for you to get that status. And you can achieve anything that you want to achieve in this life. You just have to focus with what you are doing now. Will largely determine the kind of human being you turn out. So you have to ensure that you are doing the right things now. You can't wait until you're 18 or 19 or 20 to do the right things that you do now. If you want to become a medical doctor, you have to be a student doctor now. If you want to become
Yeah.
a top-notch lawyer, you have to be a student lawyer now. If you want to join the student council
Yes.
and get involved, if you want to be a top sports person, you have to be diligent in your work now. So that kind of focus is going to be necessary. But what is important is for you to ensure that you develop discipline. The
Yes.
discipline that I'm talking about is not necessarily that you're not getting involved in fights and that kind of thing, but you discipline yourself to go to your bed at the right time so that you can get enough sleep. Discipline yourself to be punctual for school and for classes every single day, even when you don't feel like it. You
Yeah.
discipline yourself to read over your notes, to do your homework and your assignment and submit them on time. I guarantee you, if you do those three things, you're going to be a resounding success by the time you have graduated from fifth form or whatever level that you'll be graduating from. And from then, you will have set your life almost in stone to be successful. Because the truth is, you are the brightest between age 1 and 8.
Okay. Well said. So, before we wrap it up, is there any one thing that you have achieved in life that you're most proud of, and what would that be?
Fatherhood.
Yes, sir. Good save, good save.
But I mean, if I should contextualize that for schools in them and education, I, you know, the truth is, I would not have done well if I did not get an education. I did not
Yes.
settle down at some point at 5 and 6, yeah, went further to the degree. Um, you know, life would have been so much more difficult, you know. And when you look across Jamaica, and you see that the Jamaica Teachers Association, the Secretary General, who's the head of the organization outside of Canada, is a statutory board. Ministers of government, statutory board. Sherlock Chemical, Dan Shirley, statutory board. Uh, the Army, statutory board. The principal of the year, statutory board. Two top principals of the year, statutory board. And then you look at the ladies who head industries everywhere in Jamaica and in the United States. You realize that it's not just their beauty, but their brain.
Yay. Very well said. So, that wraps up all my questions for today. I do want to thank you for joining us and sharing, this accomplishment of yours with us. Congratulations again. For those of you who are tuning in, Mr. Rayon Simpson is also featured in the stats calendar, and he will be the distinguished alum that's being featured next month in February. So make sure you go to the Stats Canada Facebook page to read all about his additional accomplishments. And also follow us on YouTube, which is the Stats Canada face YouTube page to catch up on all the additional podcasts that we're doing. But once again, we want to thank Mr. Simpson for stopping by and sharing this, I would say, wonderful success story with us. And that's all. Do you have any last words you would like to say?
My absolute pleasure. Honor, diligence, and service.
Amen. One stats. Thank you, everyone, and have a good evening. Bye-bye.